Right, who is going to win the 2026 Indian Premier League? If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, drop me a like on the video before you've watched any of it, because why not? And also, let me know who you think is going to win the 2026 IPL, because I would love to hear your thoughts. I've got all 10 teams, I've got probable 11s, I've got strengths and weaknesses. Let's just have a rattle through, because there's a lot to go through here. 10 teams now in the Indian Premier League. And at number 10, we're going to start with the Kolkata Knight Riders. I'm putting them last. I don't like it that much, to be honest with you. They are, of course, one of the founding teams. They did win it in 2012, 2014 and 2024. And they've got the most expensive player in the most recent auction in Cam Green, who went for many dollars, pounds and crores, depending on your currency of choice. I think the strength is Cam Green. If he can live up to the price tag, he has to be the strength of this team, right? He has to be the focal point. He has to be the guy that's going to get people excited about KKR's prospects of winning the Indian Premier League. I just don't necessarily think he's been in the right form or the right type of player to really kind of have that, if I'm honest with you. And with regards to a weakness, and I realise the politics, and I don't necessarily claim to understand them, but I'm aware that they exist, but the loss of Mustafiza Rahman feels big in this team, and I've got them lining up as follows as a possible 11. I've got Finn Allen, Ajinkya Rahane, Ankrish Raghuvanshi, that's a terrible pronunciation, Cam Green, Rinku Singh, Ramandeep Singh, Sunil Narayan, Vaibhav Arora, Varun Chakravarti, Blessing Muzarabani and Kartik Tyagi. Now, Varun Chakravarti, obviously the best T20 bowler in the world according to the ICC. I wasn't that impressed with him during the course of the T20 World Cup. Sunil Narayan, incredibly experienced. Finn Allen scored that amazing 100, and I think that's probably where he then gets the nod over Tim Seifert to go at the top of the order because of that little bit of fun tax that he would have done and achieved in that T20 World Cup. Blessing Muzarabani to replace Mustafiza Rahman is okay, but Muzarabani didn't do well, did he, in India in that leg of the T20 World Cup. In at number 9, the Lucknow Super Giants. Now, they joined the IPL back in 2022, so they're one of the more recent franchises, and they've not actually yet qualified for a final so far in the years that they've been a part of it. The strength for me comes in their top 4. It's their experience, and it's the power and the potential that they possess in order to go and win games of T20 cricket. My question then that I struggle with is, where do the runs come from if the top 4 doesn't work? The middle order doesn't look that strong, and that kind of lower middle order, those tail end batters that might be able to club you a few at the end, not so sure. But this is how I think they could line up with Mitch Marsh, Aiden Markram, Rishabh Pant, Nicholas Pooran. So that top 4 looks as good really as anybody. Then we go into Ayesh Badoni, Abdul Samad, Shabaz Ahmed, Wanindu Hasaranga, Mohammad Shami, Mayank Yadav and Avij Khan. So it feels like a long tail from Shami downwards. And I think Badoni, Samad, Shabaz and Hasaranga are cricketers that have yet to really kind of prove themselves at the top level, which is what the IPL is. It's an international tournament, isn't it, at the end of the day? So yeah, that might upset a few, but I've got them in there at number 9. 8th place, Sunrisers Hyderabad. Now, this is quite a similar setup to the team we've just spoken about, the Lucknow Super Giants. They have an insane top 4, but what happens if this top 4 doesn't work is the bit that I'm worried about. They've been in the competition since 2013. They won in 2016, and Deccan Chargers won in 2009, which was kind of the predecessing thing that turned into the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Top 4 strength, no doubt about that whatsoever. It's an insane top 4, it really is. The weakness for me, Pat Cummins' injury. How long does that last? How big of an impact? Do they have another overseas that could fill the shoes to do the job of Pat Cummins? Because he's not just a world-class bowler, is he? He is that guy that can extend the batting lineup, and he's done it before for Sunrisers, so we know what he can do. But I've got them lining up as Travis Head, Abhishek Sharma, Ishan Kishan, Heinrich Klaasen, brilliant, so good. Aniket Varma, Nitesh Kumar Reddy, Liam Livingston in at 7, which could be low, Harshal Patel, Shivam Marve, Ishan Malinga and Zishan Ansari for their 11. It's that kind of 5, 6, 7, 8 again. There feels like there's a player missing. it does feel like there's a player missing in that team somewhere, but I've got them in 8th. I'd love to hear your thoughts. 7th place, the Rajasthan Royals. They were the inaugural winners way back in 2008. And they were called the Rajasthan Royals at that point, but I think they've been suspended in the middle and now they've come back. And anyway, they were last in the final in 2022, which they finished second in. Strength for me, slightly more limiting for the other two teams we've just spoken about, but it's the top 3, maybe extending to the top 5. And is this 14-year-old or maybe 15-year-old child now of Vaibhav Suryavanshi going to be even better than what we saw last time and what we saw in the Under-19 World Cup? Because yeah, how long is it until he gets a proper call-up? I'm really quite kind of concerned on that one. Weaknesses, seam bowling options for me, particularly the domestic seamers that they may or may not have available, and obviously only being able to pick 3 or 4 of the overseas. So got them lining up as follows. Let me know your thoughts. I've got Vaibhav Suryavanshi, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shimron Hetmeyer at 3, which I think is important. Riyan Parag at 4. Ravindra Jadeja is that kind of signing in there at number 5. No Sam Curran, which is a bit of a pain in the bottom. Dhruv Jarrell, Shubham Dubey, Jofra Archer, Nondre Berger, Sandeep Sharma and Ravi Bishnoi. It's that kind of, and I realise he's an overseas cricketer, so potentially contradicting myself, but Nondre Berger, who is that other seamer that can potentially kind of do that job with Jofra to really cut. That's what I'm worried about. I am worried about that. 6th place, Chennai Super Kings, most successful team in IPL history. They've won 5. One other team has won 5, but when you include their 5 runners-up positions as well, they are head and shoulders above everybody else, and they last won it in 2023. What's their strength? Probably the form and the fearlessness that Sanju Samson must still possess after that T20 World Cup. He's going to be there at the top of the order. He's a monster, isn't he? I mean, how impressed were you as I was watching Sanju Samson play in that T20 World Cup? The weakness for me are potentially the spinners. They've had in the past 3 kind of world-class T20 spinners in this team with Ashwin, Jadeja and one other. And that I feel like they're just missing it a little bit this year. But I've got them lining up with Sanju Samson, Ayash Matre, Ruturaj Gaikwad, Deval Brevis, Shivam Dubey, Sarfaraz Khan, Akil Hussain, MS Dhoni, who's still playing, Nathan Ellis, Noor Ahmed and Khalil Ahmed as well. I think Nathan Ellis might even be out now. I think he might have been replaced by Spencer Johnson, but I've made the graphics and we're just going to have to live with it. Yeah, so Noor Ahmed feels like he's got a lot of work to do to really kind of live up to the billing of Jadeja and Ashwin and Noor Ahmed himself. Akil Hussain's a very, very good cricketer, but don't necessarily think he's the all-round package that you might have had with Jadeja in previous years. So got them in there at 6th place. 5th place, perennial underachievers, I think would be fair to say, the Delhi Capitals. They were a founding member as part of the original IPL, but they were called the Daredevils at that point, which I think was probably a better name. They've had 1 appearance in a final where they finished runners-up in 2020. That's the best they've done. That's the closest they've got to winning an IPL. What's their strength? Lungi Ngidi. Again, similar to Sanju Samson, the form that he picked up during the T20 World Cup, the skill set that he's got, those slower balls, he was unpickable. If he can continue that form, and he was good in India as well, but if he can continue that into the IPL, he's going to be a real handful. And those 4 overs each game from Lungi Ngidi are going to be tough for whoever it is that they're going to come up against. Weaknesses for me, the strike rates of the top 3. They don't have that player that's going to go out there and really grab the game by the scruff of the neck. They're going to have players that are going to accumulate. They're going to bat for 18 overs, and yes, they'll get a nice score at the end of it, but I think from a fan's perspective, you'll be sat there watching it going, well, what if they went a little bit harder? So here's the 11 that I think DC will line up with. It's KL Rahul, Patam Nasanka, Karan Nair, Nitish Rana, David Miller, Akshar Patel as a top 6. Ashutosh Sharma, Vipraj Nigam, Mitchell Stark, Kuldeep Yadav and Lungi Ngidi. Now again, I think there's some good options. There are match winners in this team, isn't there? There's Kuldeep Yadav, there's Lungi Ngidi, there's Mitchell Stark, there's David Miller, there's Patam Nasanka, there's KL Rahul, Akshar Patel. They have individual match winners all the way through this 11. I don't necessarily think they've got the quality that matches the teams that I've got in 4th, 3rd and 2nd and 1st place. In 4th place, the Gujarat Titans. They joined in 2022. They won the first year of even trying. That's how easy they found IPL cricket. They were in the final in 2023 as well. And I think it'd be fair to say they've been pretty successful over a short period of time of being an IPL franchise. They were one of the 2 teams that joined it to expand it from 8 to 10. And yeah, I mean, to have that level of success after a couple of years is phenomenal, isn't it? What are their strengths? Batting depth, really. Rashid Khan is carded at number 8, which is quite scary. One of the most powerful kind of lower middle order batters that you could possibly wish to have walking out there at that point. And everything else about it is just runs, isn't it? The weakness for me, how do they fit Kagiso Rabada in the team? Do they play Kagiso Rabada instead of Jason Holder? Do they bring in, does Josh Butler not play because of the form and Rabada does? That's the bit I'm not sure about, but I've got them lining up as a suggestion like this. Shubman Gill, Sai Sudarsan, Josh Butler, Washington Sundar, Glenn Phillips, Rahul Tewatia, Jason Holder, Rashid Khan, Prashid Krishna, Mohammad Siraj, Sai Kishore. Now, Gill, Butler, Sundar, Phillips, Holder, Rashid Khan, all players that could win you a game of cricket. I really enjoy watching Prashid Krishna play, and Mohammad Siraj is one of my favourite bowlers to watch in any format of cricket. I love the character and the personality, but I've got them in there at 4th. 3rd place, Royal Challengers Bengaluru. Last year's winners. They won, finally done it. They got their hands on a trophy, having been there since the very, very beginning. They do also possess the leading run scorer in IPL history, of course, which is Virat Kohli, and I mean, he doesn't need much of an introduction, does he? What's their strength? Well, it is, of course, the batting lineup, isn't it? This top 7 looks phenomenally scary. Phenomenally scary. They could bat teams out of the game. Quite comfortably, they could bat teams out of the game with this top 7. What are their weaknesses? I think it's their bowling options, and it's the fitness of Josh Hazlewood as well. Is he going to be fit for the start? I'm convinced I've read something that he isn't. How quickly can he get back in? How big of a role does that fill? Because he is one of the best new white ball bowlers that you could possibly wish to get your hands on. They have got Jacob Duffy in the squad as an option, but respectfully, not quite to the same level. I've got them as follows: Phil Salt, Virat Kohli, Devdutt Padikkal, Rajat Patidar, Jitesh Sharma, Tim David, Romario Shepherd, Krunal Pandya, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Josh Hazlewood, Mangesh Yadav to round out their 11. Now, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Josh Hazlewood, that sounds like a terrifying new ball opening partnership. I mean, Tim David, Romario Shepherd, Phil Salt, there's so much power there. Are RCB going to defend their crown? 2nd place, Punjab Kings. Punjab Kings, they've never won the IPL either. They're not able to do it. They were the runners-up last year. They lost to RCB in the final. They were one of the founding members, so they are now the longest, are they? No, Delhi Capitals as well. But they've had a bit of a rebrand, so I don't really know at what point one team starts and the next one finishes. But that's something else for somebody else to figure out. They've never won it. They do have Yuzvendra Chahal, though, who is the leading IPL wicket taker of all time, and he is he's a magician to watch. He is magnificent to watch with the ball in hand. What's their strength? All-rounders. All-rounders, 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 different options, different conditions, different skill sets. They have so many players that they can kind of plug and play into this 11 depending on where they are in India, who they're playing against, what those matchups look like, and I really enjoy that about the team. Weakness though is kind of in a similar vein, is which of the overseas players do they even play at the right time? Are they going to genuinely confirm and get that right every single time they play? That's something they're going to have to figure out. I've got them lining up in this way with the Punjab Kings. It's Priyansh Iyer, Prabhshiman Singh, Cooper Connolly, Shreyas Iyer, Marcus Stoinis, Azmatullah Amarzai, Shashank Singh, Marco Janssen, Harpreet Brar, Arshdeep Singh, and of course Yuzvendra Chahal. I think there are options all the way through there. They're not necessarily teams that or players that you would put in your starting 11 for those international teams. Amarzai maybe, Shreyas Iyer potentially, well evidently not. Marco Janssen, yes, probably. Arshdeep Singh, yes. But as a team, they feel like a whole team of match winners, but they just gel. They just gel really, really well. And it only leaves one. And you've probably figured it out by now as to who I think is going to go on and win the 2026 Indian Premier League. And I've picked Mumbai Indians. And it's not necessarily the hottest take of all time. They are the joint most successful team. If you look at trophies, they've won 5. Their most recent win was in 2020. And I think it would be fair to say that if you look at the squad now, they are what you would consider to be the Galacticos of IPL cricket. They have so many good players everywhere, and I've put their strength down here for just everything. I can't think of a thing that I don't like about this team. They have everything covered. It's a terrifying team to look at on paper. What's their one weakness though? And this is me being really, really critical, is where is their world-class wrist spinner? That's what I think is missing here. They've got guys that can bowl a bit of finger spin. They have got wrist spinners in the team, but are they world class? I've got them lining up like this: Rohit Sharma, Quinton de Kock, Surya Kumar Yadav, Tilak Varma, Hardik Pandya, Shafane Rutherford, Will Jacks, Shardul Thakur, Trent Bolt, Jasprit Bumrah, and Mayank Markande. Now, Mayank Markande has been in the IPL for ages and has a better record than what maybe you'd think, but that's the question as to where that wrist spinner comes in. But Bumrah, match winner. Trent Bolt, match winner. Shardul Thakur, very, very handy all-round cricketer. To have him at 8 is low. Will Jacks, match-winning cricketer. He proved it for England in the World Cup. Shafane Rutherford, brilliant batter. Brilliant for the West Indies. Hardik Pandya, again, all 3 formats will win you a game. Tilak Varma was in great form during that T20 World Cup. Surya Kumar Yadav, insane cricketer. Quinton de Kock, not quite at his best, but we'll get there. And Rohit Sharma, I mean, he's got stands named after him now in the Mumbai Cricket Stadium, so he doesn't need much of an introduction at all. But there's my thoughts. I've got Mumbai winning the T20 World. There's my thoughts. I've got Mumbai lifting the 2026 IPL trophy.